What's up, guys? Big Papa Drock back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I enjoy saying that when I start these videos because I really mean it to be true. So if you are having a wonderful day, let me know in the comments down below. I wanted to share a cool piece of news with you before we get into this Predator showcase. Obviously, Raid has surprised us with this Alien and Predator collab event, which is so cool. And I've built Predator, and we're going to talk about if he's good. I haven't tested him yet, so I have no clue. But before I do that, I wanted to share something cool with you guys. I have now officially lost over 60 pounds. Can you believe that, guys? Over 60 pounds. Doing that in the last 3 months, even while still dealing with just brutal health issues. It is so hard to sit and talk. It's crazy how difficult it is for me to sit here and talk, which is such a foreign feeling for me. And I really hope they figure it out. But no matter what, it's pretty awesome to be able to say that in the course of basically 3 months, I have completely transformed my body, and doing that really without doing a lot of time in the gym. So I just wanted to talk about that briefly because if you're on a weight loss journey or if you're struggling with health issues like I am, just know that you are capable of achieving a lot more than you might think. It's not easy. God knows life isn't easy sometimes. But it's incredible what just deciding, just really making a decision of like, you know what, I want to be different. I want to change. And that's what I decided, what, 3 or 4 months ago. I want to change. I want to be different. And so far, health problems aside, I'm at least accomplishing the weight stuff. So I just wanted to share that personal milestone. It's funny enough, it's my birthday next week. And I was thinking about this. It's going to be a little bit of a yap session here, by the way, before we get into this video. But it's my birthday next week, and it's going to be the first time in 6 years that I don't stream to celebrate it. And it really bummed me out when I was thinking about that because one of the things that I've learned in dealing with the medical stuff this year is how much I really enjoy entertaining people streaming and having conversations and getting to know my viewers. And I miss that so much. So I guess if I was going to say one thing from you guys that you could do for my birthday is say a prayer, say whatever you believe, send good energy that they just figure out this medical stuff so that I can actually go back to doing what I love. I have a test in the morning actually on my esophagus. I doubt it's going to be the issue, but just say a little prayer for your boy because I really want to get back to yelling and screaming and streaming and doing all the goofy stuff that I normally do. So I don't know if you watched that. If you did, you can let me know in the comments. If you didn't, you don't, that's totally fine too. But I was just thinking about that literally earlier today where it's like, damn, it's my birthday and I'm not going to be able to stream to celebrate it, which bummed me out. But you know what? That's life. Hopefully, what won't bum me out is Predator, right? So they just launched the Predator collab. We've got our boy. He's a lizard man faction champion. Yes, he is. And I have to say, this avatar, one of the sickest looking in the entire game. I mean, my God, this thing looks awesome. Incredible avatar. Really, really, really cool champion. Really interesting kit. So we're gonna look it over. But before I do, I wanted to make you guys aware of this. You probably already know, but apparently he's not working as intended. Surprise, surprise. A new champion hasn't been tested thoroughly, but apparently he currently counterattacks every time an enemy counterattacks or an ally's attack has triggered his evade. So he's counterattacking too often, which they have to remove that, and then also counterattacking too often for ally attacks. So I wouldn't really call it a nerf. I mean, that's how these champions are supposed to work, because they're not supposed to counterattack on every counterattack. Otherwise, you'd just be kind of going crazy. But interesting that they didn't catch that in testing. So he is, let's take a look at his kit. First and foremost, he's an HP-based champion, Lizardman faction. Take a look at the A1. He is a Force Affinity champion. We've got the A1, Wrist Blades, attacks one enemy, heals this champion by 30% of the damage dealt, and then has a passive effect. Whenever this champion successfully evades an enemy's skill and all of its accompanying effects, counterattacks with this skill. I mean, look, if this skill hits hard, this could be really great. And I covered his kit in my video the other day, but we're going to go a little more in depth today. Then we got the A2, attacks all enemies 2 times. After hitting the initially selected enemy, all other enemies will be hit in a random order. For the first hit, the damage received by the initially selected enemy will be increased by 75%. Each subsequent enemy hit following the initial hit will receive 15% less bonus damage, reducing to 15% total. Also destroys each enemy's max HP by 30% of the damage dealt, stacking up to 50%. For the second hit, the damage received by the initially selected enemy will be increased by 15%. Each subsequent enemy hit will following the initial hit will receive 15% more bonus damage, stacking up to 75 bonus damage. And this attack ignores 15% of each target's defense if this champion is under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff. So, good lord, super complicated skill. The big takeaway here is you got to have this guy under a Veil or a Perfect Veil basically to have him do damage, at least with this skill. I mean, this is just so complicated about, first hit and then the damage goes down, second hit and the damage goes up. It's in a random order. I really don't like when Plarium makes these skills this unnecessarily complicated. This could be a great skill. I don't know. I haven't tested yet. But for the love of God, please stop putting skills like this in the game that are absurdly difficult to track. We already are missing so many things in this game about trying to understand what's happening with relic interactions or champion interactions, or you just can't tell anymore. I really hope they start getting away from this stuff. Like, it's just too complicated for the sake of being complicated. And I mean that even if it's a good skill. So just a personal opinion. You may disagree, but alas, I digress. On we go. All right, A3, Combo Stick Throw. Attacks an enemy before attacking, places a Hunter's Gaze debuff for 1 turn. This debuff cannot be resisted if this champion is under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff. That's a great debuff, by the way. You ignore, I think, Unkillable, block damage. Really, really, really strong debuff. And I know you can spread it as well, so that's super cool. But if this attack kills an enemy, places a block revive debuff on the target and a Hunter's Gaze debuff on a random alive enemy for 1 turn. The Hunter's Gaze debuff cannot be resisted if this champion is under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff. So again, you got to be under Veil and Perfect Veil. If this attack does not kill an enemy, places a Perfect Veil buff on this champion for 2 turns and fills their turn meter by 50%. Okay, cool, interesting. I mean, again, single hit, Hunter's Gaze. This could hypothetically be really good against Nice, but it's not a double hitter. I really wish they'd made this a double or triple hitter, because putting a Hunter's Gaze up, you could, ignore block damage and stuff like that. I guess if you get him in his second form, this could still work, but I highly doubt this will hit hard enough to kill him. And well, maybe it could. Who knows? Maybe it hits hard enough to do that. But block revive is great. Hunter's Gaze debuff is great. Again, you have to be under Perfect Veil to not have to worry about building with accuracy. So that does make it tougher, but interesting kit to say the least. Then we've got the passive, and this is where he gets really interesting, in my opinion. Yautja Cloak. I don't know. At the start of each round, places a Perfect Veil buff on this champion for 1 turn. Before this champion takes a turn, also has an initial 50% chance to evade an enemy skill and all of its accompanying effects. This initial chance reduces to 0 after this champion's first turn in a round. Whenever this champion kills an enemy, grants this champion a 20% chance to evade enemy skills and accompanying effects, stacking up to 60%. Look, this could be a super cool ability. I wish that he put a Perfect Veil buff on himself for more than 1 turn, to be completely honest, but evade is really underrated in this game and extremely frustrating. We've seen that with Loki. And the fact that he gets this 50% chance to evade when he hasn't taken a turn means you can build this champion slower, hypothetically, and try to max his damage. And that's what I've done in my builds, which I'll show you in a second. But could potentially be really good. Good. Again, I haven't tested him yet, so this is completely new, but we'll see. The other thing I want to call out is, man, look at his base stats, guys. 25k HP base stat. That's damn good. 1145 defense is not bad either. And the bonus crit damage, like, his speed isn't incredible, but who cares? You don't have to build him with a lot of speed based off of his kit. So his base stats are really good. That's awesome. I think what's cool about his kit is it does kind of lean into that idea of what Predator is, like hunting from a veil, right? Hunter's Gaze debuff. So I think that is a really cool, well done execution from a thematic standpoint by Plarium, and something I just wanted to call out. But let's take a look at how to build him, or what I think are the best builds for him, based off of reading his kit. So we'll start with the relic, and I'm going to go into the relic so we can take a look at all the different options. But I kind of low-key think Scroll of the Unseen is a sneaky option for this champion. And the reason why is, this is going to increase his damage every time, someone else takes a turn when he's under a Veil or Perfect Veil, stacking up to 30%. So obviously he starts with a Veil. I just think this is a sneaky good thing that could really boost his damage. It's not necessarily the best relic, and we're going to look at all your different options, but I'm throwing it on him for this test as opposed to the normal, like, wand because I want to see what kind of an impact it makes for his damage. And again, a lot of champions are going to be taking turns before he does, since I'm leaning into that evade passive. And he could be stacking up to an additional 30% damage before he even takes a turn, which I think is really, really, really cool. So let's actually look into relics and talk about the ones that I think make the most sense. By the way, I've started doing this in my videos. Let me know if you like this section of these videos or if you don't really care. A lot of times relics are the same for different damage dealers. Sometimes there's differences. But let me know what you think about me talking about this and occasionally talking about gemstones, because it does make these videos longer. But I want to make sure that there's actually value for it as you watch it. So please let me know in the comments down below. But all right, first group of stuff. Surprise, surprise. Wanna submission absolutely can work on him for sure. And in fact, might be one of the best options for him. Aspect of Sirath also can work because you could build him really slow and just rely on that counter attack on that A1, depending on how strong it is. Also, something like Gilded Dragonstone could hypothetically work. It's not that these are necessarily, or excuse me, not Gilded Dragonstone, Golden Elixir. Ignore that. Not Gilded Dragonstone. I meant Golden Elixir, where he's healing himself. And really, what we're kind of looking at with this group is we're looking at just leaning into his passive, right? Leaning into his passive. And this is all predicated on how hard hitting his A1 counter attack is. It's not super hard hitting. It probably doesn't make the most sense, but we're going to find that out. But just from reading his kit, that's what I'm thinking. On the Chimera group, you could certainly do, again, Scroll of the Unseen for the reasons I talked about. You could do Malefic Talon. You could absolutely do something like Gore Crescent to get more damage after killing somebody. I guess Stormcaller hypothetically could work too. That could certainly be an option as well, though I don't have that one. I think those make the most sense from here. I mean, Arethi Cornet, you're not going to be putting out enough debuffs for it to really work for him, so you're not going to roll down that road. Then we've got the event group options. Hatter's Reserve works as an HP-based champion, so we could absolutely do that. You could do Covetous Passion. I mean, Crowd of Corruption and doesn't really make sense. No, maybe, no. Could do something like that, but no. Zibia's Servitude absolutely could make sense, depending on how good that A1 is. Same with Last Laugh Amulet. If he's killed somebody and he has that evade up, and that way he just keeps staying alive, evading people. If he gets hit, he doesn't die. So either of these could hypothetically work, I think, for him. He's not like a super hard champion to kill based off of looking at his kit, other than the fact that he has that evade. So something to keep in mind. He's not like that Taurus passive, but I do think that these could absolutely work. Certainly Saint Xavier's Tribute, where they have a chance of buffing themselves with a veil, is huge because you do need him to be under a veil as much as possible. Absolutely something like Dread Bomb, where you're getting additional crit damage as well as speed. Speed doesn't help him as much, but crit damage for sure. And the chance to gain extra turns and ignore more defense. So that's absolutely a viable option. Bane of Centranos, this is a very underrated relic, in my opinion. This is really sneaky in Arena, especially with how often people put block damage up. So don't sleep on this. I've said it before in a video previously, but I'm telling you right now, don't sleep on this. It's surprisingly sneaky good. Then we've got the clan options. Absolutely something like Essence Quencher to increase damage absolutely works. Nah, I don't think any of these others really make a ton of sense. Maybe Murder Fang. Murder Fang could work, sure. Yeah, you could absolutely do Murder Fang. I don't think it's the best option, but it's a possibility. You could build him. All right, this is kind of a goofy way to do it, but you could build him with Death Dealer and just try to max his stats and make it so that he just evades every attack. Hopefully evades every attack. He doesn't die. So that could be a sneaky, interesting option. I don't have one, unfortunately, to test it, but something to keep in mind. Any of the others here make sense? Not really. And then the last one here, Eternal Soul Gone, no. Collective, I don't want to remove his buff, so that's not going to help. I think those are the ones that make the most sense. In terms of the absolute best ones, I think stuff like Wand of Submission, I think certainly something like Scroll of Unseen could really be great on him. Any of the damage dealing ones. And again, potentially something like Aspect of Sirath or Golden Elixir, which give him an opportunity to stay alive longer. For gemstones, you're never going to go wrong with something like Bloodthirsty Prowess to increase his damage. I don't know how he does damage-wise, but that's never a bad choice. Or something like potentially Bolstered Defense to keep him alive longer. That's absolutely an option as well. And then certainly, you know, any of these options that are going to increase damage or give him a chance for extra turns with constant onslaught. Triangular sharpened riposte with that counter attack. This could absolutely be something that you put on him as well. So you do have a lot of different options here. I think the hardest thing with gemstones is some of the best relics don't have the gem slots that you want. Like wand, I really wish had some of these triangle ones so I could put it more easily on nukers and increase their damage. But just something to keep in mind as some of your options. You know, you could go down certainly for putting like a Zibias on them, some of these square ones to give him more damage survivability, and again try to have him counterattacking as much as possible. But a lot of that is predicated on how strong is that counterattack in the first place. I don't think any of these make a ton of sense. Not really. And then Pentagonal. Isn't there one that increases counterattack damage? Did I already look at that? I did, didn't I? I looked at the one up there that was a mythical. Yeah, so I think your best options are going to usually be the circular gems or your triangular gems for this champion. But that's a full rundown of the relics. Again, let me know if that's helpful for you guys or if you just don't care, if you've heard it too many times at this point. So let's go back. Let's look at him again. Let's look at his blessing. I obviously don't have anything yet. Does have an HP ally, or excuse me, HP in arena aura, which doesn't do much for us. In terms of blessing, I think you're looking at lightning cage here, guys. Lightning cage, pretty much the way to go. You want to keep those veils on him. You want to make sure that he doesn't get stripped. So lightning cage makes a ton of sense. You could also do something like Ward of the Fallen for survivability. You could do something like polymorph if you have him 6 stars, since you're not going to build him with accuracy. Those to me make the most sense out of the list of options here. So those are the ones that I would personally be doing if I had a soul on him. And then masteries wise, now I've got him built pretty standard here. I did go for the methodical to increase the damage of the A1 with the counterattacks. I went Helm Smasher, of course. I did go down the defense tree. I thought about going support, specifically just to get lasting gifts to increase that chance of him putting that veil on himself for more than one turn. But I decided, you know what, it's not worth it. I'd rather have a higher chance to counterattack. I'd rather have a higher damage when he actually does take a first turn, since I'm building him slow. I'm going to rely on people's stone skin falling off, so I do want him to do more damage at that point in time. So this is how I went. And then I went Cycle of Violence as well, so that he can get some of his skills back, assuming he does enough damage. So that's all of that. Let's talk about how to build him. I think that there are a couple different options that you can do. And it depends on kind of what you're thinking. I wish I had a third reaction piece here. So I think one of the best builds you could do for him hypothetically is 6-piece Merciless up top and then 3 pieces of reaction and build him slow. That's what I have him in currently. Let's take a look at his stats. So he's sitting at 132k HP, not too shabby without any kind of soul. 2800 defense, which isn't super high, but would get a lot higher with a soul. And then only 232 speed and 306% crit damage. So building him slower here, I'm counting on his evade in his kit, keeping him alive, and then also these reaction pieces. But again, I really wish I had a third reaction piece. I unfortunately do not. So I don't know how effective this build will be. But if you do have 3 reaction pieces and 6 pieces up here for Merciless, I think this could be a phenomenal build. The other way that I would think about building him too is kind of like your standard Stone Skin Savage, where again, you're not making him super fast, but you're putting him in Stone Skin and Savage so that he has less of an issue with potentially being controlled. The one thing I'll say about how I build him right now in the Merciless is that I probably should put him in a wand in this build so he has less of a chance of getting controlled by somebody. I'm not relying solely on his evade. So either a wand or maybe even put him hypothetically in a chain breaker mastery. So or excuse me, blessing. I didn't cover that, but that could hypothetically work as a niche solution here. But I think a wand makes more sense. But again, for this test, I want the Scroll of the Unseen. I want to see him do more damage. But I think those make a ton of sense in terms of how to build him. Could you do something like a swift parry? Yes, but you're not getting a lot of ignored defense. And I think you're going to need it. Typically HP champions kind of sometimes struggle with nuking, depending on what their multipliers are. There's only a handful of HP champions in the game that are really excellent top tier nukers. The ones that are like tippity top because they're hard to kill. So we'll see if he falls into that category. But just to look at the pieces here with Merciless, I literally took my best gear from my Rotos and stuff like that and threw it on him. So that's how we're rolling here with HP and speed and crit rate and crit damage and HP percentage. And then this came off my Empress, just a god tier accuracy piece, mythical. And then crit damage for the Ascension. We're obviously going HP down here. And then reaction, again, wish I had a third piece, but reaction very tough to get. So this is how we're going to have to make do. I also need to ascend this to crit damage, but it's just so hard to get those damn ores or dust or whatever. So all in all, again, adds up to 132k, 232 speed, and 306% crit damage. So let's take him into Dragon and let's see what he does on his own. How does he perform on his own? I'm really curious to see. And we're going to actually use him with Duchess. So we're going to lean into that kind of go second team with this champion, even when we get into arena as well. And I'm curious if it's actually viable. Like, is it something that will work in Platinum? I really don't know. It's always tough to tell, but HP-based champions can be some of the best nukers in the game, provided they can survive and provided they can do a lot of damage. So let's take him in here. He's going to buff himself with a Veil, so we don't have to worry about putting it on him just yet. But we'll go ahead and do it with our Duchess. We'll throw it out there. We're not increasing his damage, of course, with any kind of increase attack since he is HP based. Let's start with the A3, the combo stick throw. This places the block revive and the Hunter's Gaze. We should take a look at the Hunter's Gaze debuff again, just to kind of review all the stuff that it does. But places the Hunter's Gaze, can't be resisted. 239. Yikes. 239. Damn, that's low for a single hit. That is low, low, low. Now, of course, it block revives, and so usually those are lower damage dealing things, but that is really low. And I'm pretty sure there was defense and weaken on him. You guys rightly called out in my last video, like, oh, Drock, you hit somebody that didn't have decreased defense and weaken. Sometimes it's just hard for me to see when I'm talking at the same time. So let's try it again. Let's give it a go again and see. Now you got it. His turn. You got it back. Is that his passive? How the hell did he get it back so quickly? I guess, I don't know. Well, whatever. It's very strange. I guess we just got lucky there. All right, cool. We'll try it again. I have no clue because it doesn't tell me. 367s. That did a lot better. So maybe we didn't get a Helm Smasher on that. Let's try again. Just go again, and we're going to try the A2 this time. So, I mean, again, still not super hard hitting. Okay, we missed decrease defense up there. I got to make sure I pay attention to this so I don't forget nowadays. All right, let's try the A2. So this was just okay. This wasn't super strong. Didn't really blow me away. Let's try the A2. This is where we get the increased ignore defense, and then this really crazy interaction of like doing more damage than less, doing less damage than more damage after the first hit. So how does this even look? Smart disc. All right. I mean, that looks pretty strong. That certainly wasn't bad. And the destroy HP was really nice too. Let's go again. Let's try it again. And it's a double hit. So it seems like it actually did decent damage all around. It's tough to tell because we killed everybody before the second hit, I think. Try it one more time. Yeah, I mean, I think we're only getting a second hit on a couple of those. So that could be really good if we're getting a double hit there. That could be like actually solid. Not tip top tier, but again, we also don't have a soul on him. So he has a lot more opportunity to get higher damage moving forward. Let's try his A1 now, because this is what I'm really curious to see. How does his A1 perform? Since that's what we're trying to build him to do, is counterattack. So A1, the what? Single hit, not a double hitter. It's not the counterattack version, but how's it hit? 209. Okay. I mean, not bad. Not bad. Not incredible, but not bad. Not like a really good A1, just like an okay A1. Let's try it again. 203. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm curious. I'm curious to see how this plays in arena. So overall, damage doesn't seem super great. Doesn't seem really incredible. But let's get him into arena and see how he functions there. And let's see how this passive really plays out. So here's a perfect team. We got Amarius, We got a Fabian who's going to potentially, you know, lock us out. We've also got a Nishak who can bomb us. It's a great way to start. Let's start with this. And we're going to start with get our Predator. Let's get our Duchess. We're going to go slow. Let's get a Crixia. So if we need a reset, we can reset. And who else do I want in here? I mean, I probably should try to go faster, but we'll just put a Marichka in here for the bombs. And we'll switch those around. Okay. Let's see how this works. Really curious. We should be slower. Okay, we are. They go first. See if he evades. No, he did not evade. He evaded that, though. Okay, hey, there you go. He evaded that. Let's go. I like it. I like it a lot. The evasion working. Hasn't taken his turn yet. Evaded again. Evaded again, guys. We'll cleanse all these bombs off. Look, dude, he's evading. God damn, dude, he's evading all the time. Wait, does he? Yeah, he still gets the evade because he doesn't have to. God almighty. The Yautja Cloak. Why did he wasn't even the one that was attacked? Hold on. How in the world did he wasn't even the one that was attacked there? Why the hell did he get the chance to hit? Am I crazy? Is it because the thing they're talking about? Is that why? Oh, it's because it was like an ally was attacked. Okay, I see now. I think so. Maybe. Still, that was really good. Like surprisingly good. Try it again on a different team. That has to be what they're like talking about though with his like glitch, right? One would think, oh, they've got block damage, we've got block damage. We don't have any. Well, we can strip technically with the Crixia, so we'll try that. But I don't think we're going to go. This might be slower than me even. We don't want to go. Okay. We evaded there. We did not evade there, unfortunately. Did not evade there, so we did get bombed. Just see what he does with some of these abilities. Okay, we got a polymorph there. God, he's so slow too. All right, we can block revive here. Places the Hunter's Gaze. Let's see. Is this strong enough to kill someone like a Commodus? Not even close. Didn't get now. Also didn't get the thing up there. Hold on. So now he doesn't get the guaranteed evade until he kills somebody, and he's going to blow up to these bombs. So he probably dies here. One would think. Oh no, they did almost no damage at all. Attack does not kill. Pushes perfect veil. Fills return meter. Attack kills an enemy. I think we were under a veil, so I'm not sure why that didn't get landed. Who knows? All right, let's try the A2 though. It's our first time using the A2. We're under a veil, so we should get the double hit, and we should also get the increased damage. Let's try to hit on the Duchess first. I mean, it's okay. It wasn't incredible. It's obviously not great affinity for Duchess, but it wasn't super hard hitting for anybody else either. He does get an evade chance now because we killed 2 people, so he should be up to 40% now. I definitely wish he hit a little harder is kind of what I'm feeling so far. His kit is really interesting, but it's like you got to hit hard to maximize it. Let's try it again. There we go. That wasn't bad. All right. Okay, that did something. Should be a win here. Okay. Interesting. You know, I say this almost every video I do, but we really, Plarium, if you watch this, and I'm sure they won't, but what we really, really, really need in this game. Oh, will this ignore? Hold on. Let's check this first. He's under a veil. This should ignore. Oh, they've got the. That's a shame. They've got the block the block debuffs up. That's such a bummer. I really wanted to try that out. Let's try it again. Hold on. See if we can get back to his turn. He is slow, so not a guarantee. 1 sec. Okay. There goes the Hunter's Gaze debuff. And we get the block revive. Okay, but it doesn't hit hard, though. It really does not hit hard. They need to buff his damage. I can already tell you that. But, um, one of the things we really need, and it shows every time I do one of these champion tests, is we need a better way of knowing what is happening in these battles. We really, really, really do. It's so hard to understand what's going on. So I think that needs to be a priority for Plarium for PvP purposes. There's just too many interactions that are happening now that you don't know what's going on. You can't figure it out. You don't know what skill is applied, what relic is coming to play. And it's one of the biggest things I think they need to work on. So I say it almost every video, but frankly, it's never not been true. All right, let's see how we can do here. I honestly might want to even build him slower, frankly. All right, we ignored it and he counterattacks. Dude, the counterattack is not bad. The counterattack is really not bad, guys, especially with that scroll of the unseen helping us out with damage. Other people taking turns and him getting additional damage. It's really not a bad thing. Just not quite enough damage there. Can we block revive? Can never remember how the damn passive works. Let's try this. It's just not enough damage on the A3. It's just not enough damage. If he did more damage, he would really potentially be someone you could actually throw into arena as a go second option. Especially with a good affinity versus nice. And now I kind of wish I hadn't used that, unfortunately, there, but I did. But let's see. Can we kill everybody else? We'll start with... Yeah, we'll start here. Oh, he certainly did enough damage there. Oh, but then he died, of course, because of Embers' passive. Whoops. And now we die. Good Lord, what the hell? Did my Marichka just hit for like 50K or something? Oh, no, we're about to get cooked. Oh, but he ignored. He ignored. Dude, that passive is legitimately good. It could be so good, the passive. He just did a little more damage. Okay, all right. Oh, he ignored it again. The counterattack didn't do a ton of damage there, though, unfortunately. I know this is not going to kill him, so I'm just going to try to kill over here. I'm not under a, whatchamacallit, a buff there, so we die right away. I think we're probably wiped here, unfortunately. I think the power of the nice is just too strong, and the Embers passive cooking us a little bit. Yeah, think we're cooked. Think we're cooked, boys. Damn, dude. If that A3 just did more damage, he could legitimately be a really good champion. Kind of want to try that one more time. This is also a tough team, right? Not super high power level, but really good champions here. And really ton of meta champions, and Embers also making it hard with his passive. Let's try this again. You can see that the Predator's Evade is really good, though. It is triggering a decent amount. Like, it's definitely something that is an option. Let's just try it. We'll just do this for now. I'm not going to buff just yet, and we'll see if we can get some cooldowns. Okay, nice. Very nice. And does this come into play? Does he dodge it? He does again. Dodges it again. But he doesn't dodge the damage, of course, that comes from it. That's the one downside. So does get hurt by the damage regardless. Well, we can block revive on him anyway, so let's just do it. Block the revive. We stay alive. He's block revived. I love the block revive. I think that's awesome. Can we get back to heal him? Probably not. So he's probably cooked here. Can reset everyone now, though. Nice, probably going to nuke the living crap out of us. It's only got a 20% chance. Yeah, we don't want to do anything here, so it's going to A1. Oh, it actually, it procced, though. It procced. That's awesome. It procced the 20% chance. Dude, the passive is legit, guys. Passive is legit. His A1 doesn't hit like incredibly hard, but it's also not like god awful either. So it's good enough to make him doable as a go second champion, I think. Okay, doing a little damage. How much damage can we do with this A2? Not very much. Man, damn it, dude. Why can't they just give these champions better multipliers? Like, he could be such an incredibly good champion with just a little more damage. You know, like genuinely a really, really, really good option if he just had a little more damage. But here's what you can say. Like, it definitely works to build him slow. I know I'm not going to be able to do enough damage to kill this nice. I'm going to see if I can kill the Yautja. Oh my God, still can't. That is such a disappointment that he can't kill her right there. Ah, gosh, that's such a bummer. Like, you got to be able to kill her right there. Like, there's no way you're killing a nice if you can't kill a Yautja. She's not super tanky. And now we're about to get clapped by nice again. But this is super revealing, essentially, as to where he kind of gets let down a bit. Like, what is letting him down? What is the issue? And it's really just a matter of damage. That's 100% what it is. His damage output isn't where it needs to be. The A1, frankly, hits almost as hard as the A3. You know, that's good that his A1 hits hard enough to do that, but it's bad in that he really should have better skills. Mm. All right. Can I kill this? I don't get the guaranteed resist here. Can I kill it with the A2? I got her. I got the nice with the A2. Not bad. We didn't even have the ignore defense, but okay. Look, is he worth it? Is he worth $40 or $60 or whatever it is to get him from the Champions Pass? I should have said that up front, but is he worth it? Currently, I don't think he's not worth it. I just don't think he's super worth it, if that makes sense. Like, he's an arena champion based off his kit. And the issue is he doesn't do enough damage. The kit is there. This is another example of a champion where the kit is well done. The kit is well designed, but he's being let down by his multipliers. And it seems like this is a common denominator lately with a lot of champions I've tested, especially some of these nukers, where it's like the kit's good, but damn, dude, why are his multipliers not better? Like, he needs a buff to his damage on his A3 without a doubt. This absolutely needs a buff. And it's very frustrating that it's not stronger. And let's take another look, by the way, quickly at Hunter's Gaze, just so we fully understand what that buff is. I can never remember how to find the damn buffs in this game. Am I the only person this happens to? Here we go. Debuffs. Hunter's Gaze. Let's remind ourselves exactly what it does, aka remind myself. It's got a lot of things on it, but damage dealt to a champion on the Hunter's Gaze debuff cannot be decreased, blocked, redirected, or transferred. Applies only damage dealt directly by skills, not from debuffs, passive, masteries, or blessings. So you can still decrease it from your, passives, not from debuffs, passives. It's only damage dealt directly by skills and not from debuffs, passives, masteries, or blessings. Oh, okay. It's only skill damage that can't be decreased. Okay, so never mind. That's again weirdly written, but damage dealt to a champion on the Hunter's Gaze debuff will ignore unkillable, block damage, increase defense, strengthen ally protection, veil, perfect veil, and shield. Champions can still evade damage while under the Hunter's Gaze debuff. Yeah, I mean, great debuff. He just needs more damage. He just needs more damage, guys. Like if he just had some more damage, he would be such an awesome champion and a really viable arena option to go second. And keep in mind, we've got him in 6-piece Merciless. We're getting, an additional 10% ignore defense here. Oh, that's what procced. It was the Merciless that procced on that one time earlier when I got that turn back. But it's just like he's let down by the fact that his multipliers aren't good enough. And again, this is a theme of what's been going on with a lot of champions recently, where the kit is good, the kit is well thought out, the kit makes sense for this champion, but why are the multipliers not better? His reviews aren't bad. Like his reviews are solid, 4.8, 4.7, and I do think he is usable, especially if you're not super endgame. But if is he an endgame nuker on the level of a Nice, a Commodus, an Ashnar, even a Taurus? I frankly don't think so at this point. Maybe my opinion changes when you get a soul on him and he gets even more HP and he gets even more damage out of that. Maybe that helps a bit. Like we were very close to killing a couple of those champions, but they also weren't super tanky. And these weren't like the big boys. Like you're not killing a Nice with that A3. And that's kind of a bummer. And this again was with Scroll of the Unseen, where we're getting damage boosts for other people taking turns. We're getting massive damage increases. So I think overall, super cool, unique champion, cool look, great kit, needs a buff. Just needs a buff. So is he worth it? I would say yes, speculatively, in that you hope that Plarium buffs him down the road. Plarium has a really bad track record of doing that, so you might be waiting a long time and it might never happen. But you could get use out of this champion for sure if you're lower, you're mid game, if you're not quite at the super end game ultra spend level. Absolutely, he is a viable champion, and he's definitely a viable go second champion with that passive. That passive is legit. It was hard to kill this dude, and I think that's where he could be really annoying. So I am cognizant of the fact that they probably didn't want to make him completely broken. But I do think he could use a little more damage to make him actually more viable, at least for end game players or for spenders. So all in all, I would say a cool champion who I hope gets a buff, who I think would be really awesome if he did so. But the Merciless build was working really well. I actually really like that a lot. I don't think you need to put him in Stone Skin at all. That evade was coming through quite a bit. Like he was evading a lot of stuff. So and the counterattack was legit. The A1 was doing enough damage to cook some people. So I thought that was really, really cool as well. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Did you get Predator? Are you going to get him? Are you not going to get him? What do you think of the showcases you've seen, whether it's mine or other creators? Would love to know your thoughts. And then again, share some cool stuff that you have going on in your life. I really do enjoy reading those comments, whenever you leave them. So just want to say thank you for all the support over these last 6 years of content creation and streaming. And just want to, though I won't be able to do a stream for my birthday, just know that I'm working really hard to get back to feeling 100% so I can, because I really, really miss it. And I really miss talking with you guys. And I hope that comes through. I hope you know that that's genuine. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the showcase. Like, subscribe, hype the video, all that fun stuff, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Tell someone you love them. I'll catch y'all later. Big Papa Drock out.